So this video will be very short and to the point. I just want to come on here and share with you what I made for Ankara Appreciation Week. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Tequila B with TruLuv Designs, and today I am wearing my outfit that I made for Ankara Appreciation Week. So what I decided to do was not a commercial pattern. I used a self-drafted top and bottom pattern that I made, and it's really, both pieces are only 2 panels, a front and back cut on a fold. The skirt does have an elastic waistband, and the top has elastic on top and on bottom. I did have to make some alterations and go in and put 2 darts in the back just because there was a little bit too much pucker back there for me. But all in all, it turned out great, and I do not regret cutting into this fabric at all. So if you like what you see so far, hit that like button, and also don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you'll know when I upload the next video. But stay tuned because I have some cute photos to show you and a couple different ways to wear this outfit. Tried some different looks with just the skirt because the other bottoms that I had didn't quite go well with the top, but I did give you some different looks with the skirt. Hope you enjoy. I've already cut out my pattern pieces. I'm working on my skirt. I've cut out the 2 panels and sewn them at the side seams. And now I am working on my waistband, which I folded over by 2 inches, and I am sewing close to the edge to leave room for my elastic. I'm going to sew this all the way around, leaving a 1-inch opening so that I have room to insert the elastic. I've made it back around to the opening, so I'm going to backstitch here, leave that 1-inch opening. It's now ready for my elastic, and I am threading that through now using a safety pin that I attached to the end of the elastic. Slip that through, and I'm going to pull it all the way around. Now that my elastic is all the way through, I'm going to overlap both ends by about 1/2 inch, and I'm going to sew them together using a zigzag stitch. I'm going to go forward, backward, and then forward and tie it off. This is the second garment I'm sewing on the Baby Lock Brilliant, and the one thing that I do love about it is the ability to sew a reverse zigzag stitch. I tried it on my other machines and it didn't work, and for a long time I thought it was just me. But if you check out Lakeisha over at Zazie K Creations, she is also sewing elastic on her brother machine, and she states how it does not sew a reverse zigzag stitch. It simply tacks it in place. So thank you, Lakeisha, for confirming that for me, because for a long time I really thought it was just operator error. Now that I have my elastic sewn together and inside the casing, I'm back stitching to start my stitch. I'm going to sew my casing closed, and once I reach the end of that casing, I'm going to back stitch again. And now my waistband is complete. I'm moving on to the hem of my skirt. I have folded and pressed it over 1 inch. I'm starting at one of my side seams, and I'm stitching all the way around using a 1-inch hem allowance, sewing close to the edge. Now I have my 2 panels for my crop top. I am pinning these together at the side seam. I'm going to pin all the way down and then stitch it together using 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. Once I've completed this side, I'm going to repeat the same thing on the other side. I folded over and pressed both raw edges of my crop top by 1 inch. This will be the casing for my elastic. So once again, I'm going to sew close to the edge, back stitching at the beginning. Gonna sew all the way around, leaving a 1 to 2 inch opening for my elastic. I took a little break here so I could prepare dinner for the family. So just using the light from my sewing machine now. Otherwise it would be too bright and you wouldn't be able to see what I'm doing here. So once I complete this on the first side, I'm going to repeat for the second side. So I've cut both pieces of elastic. The first piece I wrapped around my upper bust to get how much I'd need, and then I cut it 1 inch shorter. Then I repeated the same thing for my under bust for that piece of elastic. My under bust elastic was shorter than my upper bust. That helped me to keep the pieces separate. And now I'm just using my clips to mark the top and bottom. I've marked the top with 1 clip and the bottom with 2 clips. Now I'm attaching a safety pin to the first piece of elastic, which is for the top. And I'm just going to get that inserted just to get it started. Then I'm going to move to the second piece of elastic for the bottom, and I'm going to insert that one just to get it started as well.
The other one's just not there anymore. Melissa's still having issues. It's like she's deployed a few.
Now I apologize. I did not realize my TV was so loud.
What happened? You okay?
And now I'm inserting the second piece of elastic.
It scared the Beetlejuice out of me. And nobody can say that again twice.
Beetlejuice?
Tandy, we have enough problems here without introducing a troublemaker from the spirit world.
Fine, nobody say Beetlejuice again. So, on top of the unreliable power, the ugly art displays.
Once both pieces of elastic are in, I'm going to go back and forth between the two, just pulling those through. And this helps me to get both pieces through without one side being so bunched up and tight. It'll still be easy to get both pieces through. So I just go back and forth until both pieces have been pulled all the way through. I have my elastic pulled through, and I am overlapping both ends by 1/2 inch and sewing them together with a zigzag stitch, going back and forth 2 to 3 times. And now that my elastic is in, I am sewing that casing closed, back stitching at the beginning and the end, and I do this for both sides. And now I'm just maneuvering the fabric around the elastic so that it's as evenly gathered as possible. To help me determine my top from my bottom and my back from the front, I am cutting a piece of satin ribbon that I have in my stash. I'm going to sew this into the back of my top like a tag. I insert it just enough so that my stitching will catch it when I close this casing. Once I have it set, I'm going to pin it in place, sew my casing closed, back stitching at the beginning and the end. Now make sure I pull the pins out before I get to them so that I don't sew over them and risk damaging my machine.
Hi, Mom.
Look at that! Louis!
Hey.
Hi, Louis.
Hi. What's with the cool outfits?
They are cool, right? We're taking our family photo. Oh, trying to, but my mom is showing her.
And now I'm all done. Enjoy the pics. next time, see it, make it, slay it.